Hello and welcome to the second tutorial for LoopXtreme from Extremely Nice Apps. Today I'm going to show you the pattern recorder and the way that you edit patterns. So I've got a sort of a disco theme. I'll show you roughly the thing that I'm starting off with here. So that's the sort of pattern that I want to record. Now you'll notice that these four pads here are set to single mode and I've got an ensemble hit. And I'll just show you how I've edited those sounds. If I go to the edit pad, you'll see that I'm using the crop. Now if I play the whole sample as it is from the library, so there's several hits in there. So by using the crop, I can select out parts of the sound that I want to use. So the left slider is the start of the sound. So what that's doing is playing a little bit of sound as it's moved. And then this end slider so I've got that set now just to pick out that little section of sound. And I've done that with all the others as well. You'll notice that these are all set to similar positions to give us the sounds that I want. Just a single hit. Okay, so what I'm going to use is I'm going to use this loop here to give me my timing. I think I'm missing a little bit off the front end of that. So if you move your finger up to the top, it gives you a finer control. And the closer you get to the slider, it follows your finger at the slider, but as you move up, you get a finer resolution. So let's just have another go with that. Yeah, we've got it now. Good. Okay. Next thing I want to do is record a musical pattern using those four pads. Now, in order to do that, I'll simply go to the pattern editor, and as you'll see in here, it's empty at the moment. Okay, if I go back to the pattern screen and bring up the transport, on the transport you've got usual sort of tape deck controls. So you've got rewind, which takes you back to the beginning, and you can move anywhere you want in the song by just sliding on the nav bar here. So you hit rewind. What I want to do is put in a loop of 4 bars, and as you see here, I've got the start of the loop is at bar 1, which is right here, and the loop end is beat 1 of bar 5, which will give us 4 bars. That takes us to here. So I'm going to put the metronome on, and I've also got this button enabled, which is the repeat. So what that will do is it will run through 1 to 5 and then loop back to 1. And I'll turn the metronome on to give me some timing. Hit record. That gives me a 2-bar count in to get ready. I think we've got that, so we can turn the metronome off now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute, using the mute button, I'm going to mute that drum loop that I just recorded there, so that all I can hear are these 4 pads here. So we'll run from the beginning again. Now if I go to the pattern editor, you'll see in there that these dots represent the trigger point for those single shot sounds. These red dots along here are showing that the loop drum sample, which is muted at the moment, that was playing continuously, as there's a dot on every 32th of a bar. And as I swipe through, you'll see it goes up to the end of bar 4 right up here. And then we're ready to go. Now what I want to do on this first beat, I want to double hit on that, so that's going to play it twice at the start now. And then maybe on the third one has already got that, that's fine, but I don't want that third one there. If you press and touch the screen, you get crosshairs come up and you can position where you want to be and then release and it will delete. And again, if you so the dots get toggled on and off as you touch them. You can do them much quicker, but if you want to get more accuracy, use the crosshairs. The crosshairs are very handy when you're using it on the iPhone or the iPod Touch, because obviously you've got a much smaller screen there. Okay, I think we're set to go. Let's just try that again. Good. Okay, we've got that. So the next thing I want to do is I want to render that melody I've got there with those 4 pads onto a WAV file, which I can then load back into a pad, which will free up these 4 pads so I can use those for other sounds. So let's do that now. On the transport, I've got the loop enabled, so what that will do is it will render a WAV file between the 2 loop points, between bar 1 beat 1 and bar 5 beat 1. So I'll make sure that's enabled. Go to the home screen and select export WAV, and then all I have to do is specify a name, call it loop tune, and specify a bank. I think we'll put it in bank 8 and export it. Okay, that's done. Right. Now if we go to there, bank 8, what's it called, loop tune. In fact, if I use the L, there's loop tune there, preview it. I've got it on repeat here. Okay, that's good. So I'll load that in. So I've now got that sound. I can then unmute that. So now I'm only using 2 pads instead of 5 as I was when I started.